The Zephyrian Council chambers had never witnessed such silence. 12 species, representatives of the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy, sat in stunned quiet as the holographic display showed the impossible. The Devourer fleets retreating. For 3 centuries, the mechanical horrors had swept across star systems, consuming entire worlds, leaving nothing but stripped planets and the echoing screams of the dying. No weapon had worked. No strategy had succeeded. The galaxy's greatest minds had calculated their extinction within 50 standard years. Then the humans had arrived. Ambassador Kethvar of the hegemony was the first to break the silence, his crystalline form shimmering with disbelief. "How?" he whispered, his translator struggling with the emotional undertones. "How did they do what we could not?" The answer came from the human representative, Admiral Sarah Chen, who stood at the center of the chamber with the casual confidence that had unnerved the council since first contact. Her species was young, barely 3,000 years of recorded civilization, yet here she was, delivering what every other race had thought impossible. "You want to know how we stopped the Devourers?" Chen asked, her dark eyes scanning the assembled aliens. "You really want to understand what makes humanity different?" The Altarian delegate, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline matrix, pulsed with curiosity. "Your technology is primitive compared to ours. Your ships are crude, your weapons basic. By all calculations, you should have been the first to fall." Chen smiled, an expression that still disturbed many species who had never developed such a display of aggression disguised as friendliness. "That's where you're wrong. You looked at our tools and saw primitiveness. You should have looked at our hearts and seen fury." She activated her own holographic display, showing scenes from the recent battles. Human ships, ugly and angular compared to the elegant curves of Zephyrian vessels or the organic beauty of Silthak bioships, plowed through Devourer formations with reckless abandon. "When the Devourers hit our outer colonies," Chen continued, "they expected what they'd found everywhere else. Populations that would calculate, strategize, and ultimately surrender when the math became impossible. Instead, they found humans." The display showed a human settlement on Kepler 442b, a farming world with barely 10,000 inhabitants. The Devourers had descended expecting easy prey. Instead, they found farmers who had turned their fusion reactors into bombs, mothers who flew cargo haulers loaded with antimatter into Devourer ships, and children who sent out constant transmissions, not pleas for help, but tactical data for anyone who might follow. "Your species prey to various entities," Chen said, gesturing to the diverse assembly. "When faced with extinction, you sought divine intervention, you calculated probabilities, you prepared for dignified ends. But humans, we don't pray for saviors. We sharpen our knives and light our fires." The Vorthon representative, a methane-breathing creature in an environmental suit, spoke through its translator. "But the casualties, your losses were unprecedented. How did your people sustain such sacrifice?" Chen's expression hardened. "Because we understood something you didn't. The Devourers weren't just killing us, they were erasing us. Every world they consumed, every person they processed, was gone forever. Not just dead, but wiped from existence. And humans have a saying, if you're going to kill us, you better kill every last one of us because the survivors will never stop coming." The hologram shifted to show the final battle above the Devourer homeworld, a construct the size of a gas giant, composed entirely of harvested matter from 1,000 consumed civilizations. The combined fleets of the galaxy had barely scratched its surface. The human fleet, smaller and less advanced, had somehow cracked it open. "You see, while you were building beautiful ships designed to preserve your crews, we were building weapons designed to ensure mutual destruction. Our primitive nuclear technology, we scaled it up. Our crude kinetic weapons, we launched them at relativistic speeds. Our basic AI, we taught it to hate." The silence returned, but this time it carried weight. The assembled delegates were beginning to understand. "The Devourer's mistake," Chen continued, "was thinking they were facing another rational species that would make logical decisions. Instead, they encountered humans who had unanimously voted to implement Protocol Wildfire, the complete mobilization of every human world, every resource, every life, for one purpose: making sure that if humanity died, we'd drag our killers into the grave with us. She paused, letting that sink in. When your scouts reached the Devourer homeworld, what did they find? A species that had conquered half the galaxy, reduced to hiding in deep space, terrified to approach any system where humans might be waiting, because we didn't just defeat them, we traumatized them. We made them afraid of the dark. Ambassador Kethvar's form flickered with what his species expressed as awe. You turned your entire civilization into a weapon. No, Chen corrected, her smile returning. We revealed what we'd always been. Every human carries the genetics of survivors, beings who crawled out of caves, who survived ice ages and plagues and wars, who looked at impossible odds and said, "Watch this." The Devourers thought they were hunting sheep. They found wolves. She gestured to the display showing human ships returning home, battered but victorious. You prayed for a savior, and the universe sent you the descendants of persistence hunters, beings who evolved to never give up, never surrender, and never forgive threats to their pack. The council chamber erupted in a mixture of cheers and terrified whispers as the full implication settled in. Humanity hadn't just saved the galaxy, they had reminded every species present of something they'd forgotten in their comfortable civilizations. Sometimes, salvation doesn't come in the form of divine intervention or superior technology. Sometimes, it comes carrying fire and steel, wearing the face of someone who simply refuses to die quietly. And sometimes that's exactly what the galaxy needs: